What's going on there, fellow YouTubers, gamers and hobbyists? Welcome to this, the first in a series called Creating an Army, I suppose. Creating an army. So we're creating a Tau army. Well, we aren't. I am. So I'm going to start with this start collecting box set, which I've already unboxed. I'm gonna start with this. I know. Finish one thing before starting the other, but you know me. So I want a Tau army. So this box contains, and it says right here, 1 ethereal on a hover drone, 10 fire warriors, 2 drones, 1 DSB tactical support turret. I wonder where that is. Oh, there, I see, yes. 3 XV8 crisis battle suits and 6 drones. So you get 8 drones altogether. Okay, that's pretty cool. I've got some stealth suits up in the studio as well. But what I'm gonna do is we're gonna be building this together. Alright, hang on. I'm gonna be building this together, and it's gonna be interspersed with different things. And I'm gonna be looking at the lore in the Tau Codex. You know, because I've got the new Tau Codex. Yes, I have. I've been reading that with interest. So let's go camera down and see what we can see, shall we? Okay, got the box here. I've already unboxed it, so I can just get on and open this bad boy. And as we discovered before, lots and lots of sprues. So I'm just going to take them all out for a moment so I can get to the instructions. Right, okay. So we've got colour instructions and black and white instructions, that's right. And the Tau ethereal on hover drone. Right, okay. Okie dokie, right. Ethereal on hover drone. You can move 8 inches. That's cool. The ethereals are quite strange, actually. They're kind of like royalty in terms of the Tau Empire. I'm not entirely sure what base this goes on. You know, does he go on a... Well, these are, I would imagine, are the crisis suits. Yeah, because there's 3 of them. So I would imagine he went on one of these bigger bases. Well, I suppose we better start with him, hadn't we? So I'll get one of those out there. The rest of them, well, wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 10 small bases. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 8 drone bases. Yeah. So the 10 would be the fire warriors. Yes, they would. Well, let's get the ethereal done first, shall we? The ethereal. Oh, and that gun thing, tactical support turret, that goes on the other big base, I would imagine. So I'm going to pop these away here now for just a moment, just a second. Give me that. There we go. So I was just looking at the timer. Pop the box to one side. Now, instructions over there. Now I've got my Tau Codex to look at, and I was really fascinated reading through some of the lore of the Tau, and we'll come on to that. But for the moment, let's get started at least find... where did I put the sprue for him? I don't say I put it back in here. That would be... Yeah, I did. Irritating. There we go. So we are going to make the ethereal first. So let's have a look. My glasses here. These, I picked these up in a supermarket somewhere, I believe. I'm hoping these will be the right, like a good strength for me. Yes, perfect. Excellent. That's good. So you see me stringing to look here. But that's good. I can see. I can see the numbers without. So what do I start with then? Number 1, 2, and 4. I think. Well, number 1 is here. Number 1 is here. And I've got all my stuff ready here. So this is a little bit like an on the bench. I appreciate that. But we're going to be interspersing it with bits of lore. And number 4, which is this piece here. I find it's best just to get a few of these off the sprue. And now we're looking for number 2, which must be this. And I'll be honest, I've been wanting to get into Tau for some time. I like the way they look. I think they're going to look great on the tabletop. Right. So once he's done, he's got a bit of a chest plate thing. Number 3. That's alright. We can take that off. Some of these parts on some of these sprues, as I said in my unboxing, they look quite close together. So yeah. So this is all about building a Tau army. I'm starting with the ethereal because they're kind of like the leaders. There are sort of exceptions to this. I suppose they're like HQs, but let's just have a look at the ethereals. The ethereals make up the ruling caste within Tau society and are born to steer their comrades towards the chosen path. They embody the rules of royalty and the priesthood, and the deference paid to them is the closest thing to mysticism in Tau society. For weighted decisions, a wise ethereal will take counsel from the senior members of each caste, although ultimate sovereignty falls upon him and him alone. The ethereals find themselves in a binding role, guiding the other castes to work together for the greater good. An ethereal must be a consummate leader and motivator, pushing the earth caste for the more practical innovations, setting firm negotiation goals for the water caste to strive for, giving perimeters to the great fleet of the air caste, and directing the sometimes overzealous aggressions of the fire caste. The absolute control which ethereals exhibit over other castes of the Tau Empire is a mystery. Many assume such manipulation is a form of innate psychic ability. Others feel that the faultless loyalty the ethereals inspire has been contrived by some unseen technology, or is even the result of some pheromone-based reaction. The most primitive races Tau forces have encountered believe the ethereals are deified beings, leaders of an advanced people chosen for greatness. Naturally, the ethereals themselves help propagate and encourage this particular myth, as the Tau do their utmost to prevent any ethereal from being slain or captured. There have been few opportunities to conduct tests, and those that have been performed offer no conclusions and far more questions. The presence of an ethereal is motivational, but they are not mere figureheads. They are also reverential leaders for whom any Tau would willingly lay down their life. Battles uncounted have been turned in the Empire's favour by the sudden arrival of an ethereal on the field. By invoking the elemental truths, an ethereal can inspire those around him to perform feats above and beyond what is normally considered possible, displaying bravery in the face of certain death, placing shots with increased accuracy, withstanding crippling pain, or pushing their bodies to their limits to quickly reach crucial locations on the battlefield. The Tau do not question the source of these powers, accepting the greatness of their leaders on faith alone. So that's a little bit about the ethereals there. And so we come back to the actual building. So there, I've finished putting him together. He was quite fun, actually. And like I say, I've got the rules here for him that came in the box. Let's see. Like I say, he's got 8-inch movement, 3+ weapon skill, 4+ ballistic skill, 3 strength, 3 toughness, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership of 9, 5+ save. So yeah, so he's pretty good, I would say. I'm thinking on ethereals. I was reading, one of the other things I was reading was of a character called Onvar. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but he's master of the undying spirit, speaker of great truths, father of his people, the great leader, the shining light. So I'm going to call him Onvar, and read out what he's got about, because he is quite. One thing about the Tau Codex, it's got some really interesting characters in. Okay, Onvar is the oldest and wisest of the venerated ethereal caste, and his hand can be seen at work behind many of the greatest successes of Tau history. Ethereals have longer lifespans than those of other castes, but the fact that their great leader continues to live many times beyond even the most venerable of ethereals is never questioned. It is merely another facet of the legend of Onvar. As the highest ranking member of the High Council, or Ethereal Supreme, Onvar's word is the ultimate law across not just the Tau set but over the whole of the Tau Empire. All Ethereals are given the utmost respect, but Onvar is revered beyond others of his caste, and even the merest suggestion of a visit to a Tau colony by this esteemed figure is enough to double production in the Earth caste factories and spark planet-wide ceremonies. Despite his advanced age and important symbolic status, Onvar regularly walks amongst his people, feeling he is most effective when he can lead from the front. History is replete with examples of Onvar in the midst of conquest, inspiring the Firecast to great deeds or arriving in battle zones to bolster morale. It was his awe-inspiring presence that impelled the Tau to rid the Psychoa system of the hateful reek, giving each other Kader the will to see the bloody campaign completed. Upon the flanks of Mount Skion, it was Onvar who pronounced the fate of the Orcs of War Grognik, a sentence enacted by the assembled fire warriors with a righteous rage. In perhaps his most famous pronouncement, Onvar declared the beginning of the Third Sphere expansion. Now, these sphere expansions, I may go into them later on, but basically they're like periods of exploration, if you will, of the Tau Empire. Okay, it says, flanked by a full ceremonial guard, the Ethereal Supreme gave a slow, deliberate speech culminating in a rousing call to arms, a demand to proliferate across the stars and make manifest the Tau Empire's glorious destiny. The guiding light of the greater good must reach those worlds trapped in the darkness of their barbaric ways. As his words echoed into silence, untold billions of Tau stood outside the Council Dome or listened to the broadcast throughout the Empire. All bowed low as one, humbled by the immensity of the moment. During the long wars of the Third Sphere campaign, hollow footage of the Ethereal Supreme in the thick of the fighting was ever present in the Tau Empire's propaganda transmissions. Onvar, on his hover throne, entering a breach in a battered Imperial fortress wall. Onvar directing the devastating volleys of a fire warrior line, and Onvar standing next to the new technological marvel of the XV-104 Riptide. with the still smoking wreckage of recently destroyed enemy tanks in the background. More than any previous ethereal, Supreme Anvar desired to be seen at the forefront of the Tau Empire's military endeavours. Since those heady days, the ethereal Supreme's visits to the front lines have been less frequent, though still memorable and decisive. Although protected by his honour guard and a force shield that envelops him and his hover throne, it is not Anvar's way to enter the conflict directly. Rather, through his wisdom and ability to inspire his followers to seemingly impossible feats, he guides the Tau soldiery around him. In his august presence, fire warriors have been known to unleash more accurate volleys, enabling them to cut down oncoming opposition, shrug off otherwise mortal wounds in order to continue the battle, or hold their position to the bitter end despite overwhelming enemy assaults. Now here's the interesting bit. Of course, this is all an illusion of unthinkable complexity and scale, for in truth, the Ethereal Supreme is dead, slain at the hands of an Imperial assassin at the culmination of the war for Mugulf Bay. If this secret were to ever be unearthed, the ruptures throughout Tau society would be monumental, for Anvar is an icon of hope, stability and longevity, the calming and steady voice that guides the immortal dream of the Tauvar. Thus, the Ethereal cast utilizes the latest solid-light technology and AI personality matrix algorithms to give the Ethereal Supreme life, albeit in entirely hologrammatic form. Before his assassination, the aging Anvar was already in the process of uploading his memories and thoughts to an engrammatic shell, and it is this consciousness expanded and altered by the Ethereal High Council that now survives the great leader. Anvar's stirring rhetoric continues to be broadcast across the Tau Empire, and the old leader, or rather whatever simulacrum remains, still makes regular combat tours, inspiring all with his wise counsel and selfless bravery. His honour guard never leave his side for a moment, lest the grand deception be discovered. And so, coming back to my model here, this is just a normal ethereal on a hover drone. This isn't Anvar, but it certainly inspired me to want to get him, because what an interesting character that is. That's just one little bit. That's just one character in the Tau Codex. An ethereal who is actually already dead. It's just a hologrammatic image. Now I find that really interesting. So, but here is my ethereal at the moment. So I'm going to leave this episode here because I have my ethereal done. I won't start the others on this episode. I'll start them another time, and we'll talk about whatever we go on to next. It might be Fire Warriors. I don't know. Probably Fire Warriors. I don't know, but we'll see. Anyway, there we go. So that's my ethereal. The start of my Tau army. Yes, it's true. I have a Tau Riptide. You know that. You've probably seen him on the shelves behind me. So I do have the Tau Riptide, and yeah. Well, once I've got this little box set done, I'll display them, and we'll see where we go from there and where to expand and so on. But the ethereal is done. Thanks very much for watching. Remember, all brushes lead to ore, and bye for now.